Hi guys, welcome to this short webinar on the integration between Silverfox labeling and AEM. Me here, I have Steve Cowles and Alex Michelson, Steve from the AEM side and Alex from Silverfox. Just a bit about who Silverfox are. So Silverfox are the global labeling supplier based in the UK. We're a leader in cable and equipment labeling and have specialized in labeling for electrical and instrumentation, as well as data and telecom engineers for the last 45 years. We have a unique solution called our Fox in a Box thermal printer that prints over 200 variations of cable and equipment label with one software, one printer, and one ribbon. What's unique about Silverfox is we have lifetime free of charge feature updates. So our physical unit, the Fox in a Box, has been on the market for 15 plus years. And someone who purchased that printer 15 years ago has got the exact same solution as someone who purchases it today. So someone who purchased it 15 years ago is going to have access to this integration between Silverfox labeling and AEM as well at no extra charge. We have the most rigorously tested labels on the market. So all of our labels are tested by independent testing houses on finished printed labels so that you can be sure that the labels stand the test of time and the duration of that installation. We have decades of experience and trusted by installers, RCDDs, and techs all over the world for the last 45 years, working very closely with them in the design and implementation of the software itself. And we have a one-of-a-kind labeling solution where a user can design and print a label for any patch panel from any OEM, past, present, or future, copper or fiber, and design that and print it with the software and the printer, and print to 41 new patch panels in just a few seconds. So why the integration between Silverfox labeling and AEM? The first reason is to reduce the chance of error for those who are using AEM testers alongside the Silverfox solution, so to have that seamless link between the two. The second reason is one of the reasons we do many things here at Silverfox, and that's to increase the time-saving benefits. So to reduce the lag time between test and label, to have that seamless touch. And the final point is to increase the functionality of our Labacus Innovator software. As I mentioned earlier, we have lifetime free of charge feature updates for all users. So this feature is rolled out to everyone at no extra charge, meaning that the investment that someone made last year, the year before, 5 years ago, 10 years ago, is completely future-proofed. Just a slide here on any questions that you can direct towards at any time. But now I'll pass over to my colleagues, Steve and Alex.
Great, okay. Thank you. And I've got a screen from our award-winning TestPro multifunction cable certification system up here, and we'll go through how to create these labels and how to import them into the tester. So one of the things about TestPro, AEM's been around for quite a while now, and TestPro is the fastest multifunction certification tester on the market. For Cat 6A testing, you can do a test in 6 seconds flat. And we also do other types of testing, fiber certification, OTDR, 10 gig Ethernet testing, a multitude of tests. And you can check that out on our website. When you're running tests in the field, you need to have the labels, as you mentioned. You want to make sure you know what goes where. So if it's labeled properly, you'll know the routing of the cables. And onboard the tester, I'll go into the project real quick and edit the test profile. And one of the parameters that you can modify is the label scheme. There's a default simple label in here. You can also edit and create a labeling scheme in here if you like. But more often than not, you're going to want to create that labeling scheme ahead of time. And you'll take a CSV file to do that. So I've got an example CSV here. And I've also already emailed this CSV file over to Dom and Alex, so you guys can use that to show how this will integrate with the Silverfox system. So here I've got a label scheme that I created, single column file. It's a CSV file, and we can see as it progresses through, we can it jumps from the numbers and the letters. It's an alphanumeric sequence, and it will advance accordingly. And then there are some other labels at the end that don't fall in that same alphanumerical sequence, this is nice when you do it with the CSV file, because if you do the file on the tester and create the label on the tester, it's got to be in that certain alphanumeric sequence. Doing it with a CSV file and importing it, you can have a wide variety of different label schemes all in one file if you needed to use that. So I'm going to close that. I've got the file name right here, this ABC123 Rev3X, and that's the file we're going to be using. So I will open up my Test Data Pro software. I have my TestPro connected to my PC with the USB cable. This will also work with our qualification tester, the network service assistant. So what I'm going to do is I have a USB flash drive inserted into my computer, and I'm going to take that labeling file we created, and I'm going to push it using the software USB. So we're going to go into Tools. I'm going to go to Import Custom Label, this button right here, and we'll open up. It's going to ask us to select the file. So I'm going to go find that file, and it's going to be in my custom label creations. And here is that file that we were just looking at. I will click Open. I need to select the USB drive. My USB is in drive D. I'll click OK, and it has now been created. So now if I look at that USB, I see a folder that has been created by the Test Data Pro software called Custom Label. If I look in that folder, we'll see that CSV file that we were just looking at. So now I will go ahead and remove the USB from my computer. I will go back to my tester. I'm going to insert that USB into my tester. And in a couple of seconds, I get a USB menu that pops up. And I've got some options here. The one I want to choose is Import Label List. Click Import Label List. I'll select the label scheme that I want and click Yes. And I get the message that it has been imported successfully. I can now go back to my project where we were before, edit my test profile, click on the label scheme, and now if I click Edit, I see that label scheme that I just imported. I'll select that, click Save, and here we see that label scheme. So the A1, A01 as it progresses, the B sequence comes in, and then those S2 labels at the end. That imports the label scheme. So now when I run my test, I'm just going to go ahead and connect my tester to a link here. And we get a live wire map. We see that we're connected, and I will run a test. In 6 seconds, we'll get our results. And this test passed. I can go in and view all the details of the test, but what we want to do now is save it so we can show you that label. I'll click Save. And here we see it starts at the beginning sequence, the A1, A01. We can also see those S2 labels if we wanted to use those. We just save that, and then the next one that we run a test on will automatically increment to the next label in that alphanumeric sequence. And it really is as simple as that.
That's great. Thanks, Steve. So you've created your label scheme. Now you need to label your cables either before or as you test them in order to know which ones you've tested, what's passed, what's failed, throw away the ones that have failed, etc., etc. You can see here the Labacus Innovator software. So we're using the professional version, which is the highest level that we sell. And with that comes all of the functionality, the ability to import AEM data, but also the ability to print patch panel labels for any patch panel, past, present, or future. And that's what I'm going to show you today in conjunction with these AEM test results. Click Silver Fox Patch Panel Template Designer. So those Cat6A cables that Steve's tested are, I'm guessing, are either going into a faceplate or a patch panel. So having labels for those patch panels that match up is going to be extremely helpful. So creating a patch panel is very easy. You have it in front of you. You can have 6 ports per group, 2 ports per row, 2 rows per panel, and then you can build out the port width, spacing between the ports, and spacing between the groups, and suddenly you've got a patch panel. And this can be copper or fiber. We're going to do a copper one for the time being. So I can choose my material. I'm going to do an adhesive 50mm wide with 6mm high strips for this one. Data entry. So I can click here, import AEM CSV. That is that spreadsheet, that CSV file that Steve sent me earlier. And you can see, so all I need to do is untick the headers on CSV first row, because it's just a straight CSV, there aren't any headers. And you can see that A1, A01, first one. And if I scroll down, you can see the S2s that Steve mentioned. And all I have to do is click import. And there you go, there's the cable IDs there. And then all I have to do is just change the font Change the font size. So I can choose Arial Narrow. I can make it a little bit smaller so it fits. You can see that as a result of those cable IDs, I've made labels for most of 3 patch panels. So I can just put spares. There you go. I've created labels for 3 patch panels, 324 port patch panels in about 2 minutes. Then all you have to do is click print and then print.
The print speed of this is what, Alex?
It's 4 inches per second, or 100 millimeters for our European metric.
And how long would it take to print? How long would it take to print those labels there for that port?
So if we look at the print preview, it's 224 millimeters. So once you've clicked print and the printer loads in the data, which will take about 10 seconds, you're looking at another 3 or 4 seconds to print that.
That's great.
3 2U patch panels in about 20 seconds.
So fast to test and fast to print.
It's a good way to put it, Dom.
There you go. Put me in marketing.
That's so easy to do. That's great.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, Steve. One of the reasons that we introduced this solution, patch panel part specifically, is because you'll know, working in the industry for so long, that connectivity companies release patch panels so quickly. It feels like almost every month there's a new patch panel out from at least one connectivity company. Previously, we would keep a library of all of the different patch panel label areas that are required for each patch panel from different OEMs. And then we were just being inundated with requests of people saying, oh, please, can I have a patch panel for XYZ, a label for patch panel from XYZ supplier? And we would say, well, you know the size of the patch panel, you've got it in front of you. So what size? And they would say, well, you're the labeling company, you should know. So we introduced this method, this really, really smart and intuitive method of making what you see in front of you at the patch panel look like what you see on the screen, and vice versa, where you can design and print a label for any patch panel from any OEM, whether that be Belden, Comscope, Leviton, Cell from Mayflex, making what you see on the screen look exactly like what you see at the coalface, and then be able to save that template so you'll then have a bank of the patch panels that you use regularly. And the print speed, and combined with obviously the testing speed as well, is really going to save a lot of time on projects.
That's great. That is just fantastic that you have that capability, and I think it lends itself to helping our mutual customers save time on the job. And as we all know, time is money.
Absolutely. And it's the resource that so many people forget about when they're doing projects. Obviously, a 6-second test is going to save a lot of time if you're doing however many drops. And labeling goes from being the least important part of a project to the most important part almost overnight. So being able to claw back some of that lost time throughout a project is really, really crucial. It can really make or break a whole thing.
Right. Well, this is exciting.
Yes. Thank you, Steve, for showing us the AEM side of it. And thank you, Alex, for sharing how the Silverfox side links into it as well. Obviously, if anyone has any questions, they can reach out to anyone from AEM or from Silverfox.
Absolutely. Thanks. Appreciate it.